I am continuing in my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am continuing reading in a chronological order, according to event, not according to publication or volume. So I'm skipping around a bit as I move along. So I continue reading in the Gospels. Remember, Christ did go down to Jerusalem for the Passover and then later for another feast, which I believe is the Feast of Tabernacles, which would be about 6 months later. He has now gone back up to Galilee as the people in Jerusalem are still forming their conspiracies to try and kill him. And the last thing we read was once he's back in Galilee, he gathers his disciples together, and from among them he chooses and ordains his 12 apostles. That is where we left off. Now we're going to start the Sermon on the Mount. And this one we are going to read in Luke chapter 6, verses 17 through 49. In this video, we will not be reading the Joseph Smith translation. We will do that in the next video. This is Luke's record of the Sermon on the Mount. It's much more brief than Matthew's record, and so we read it first. Verse 17. And he came down with them and stood in the plain in the company of his disciples, and a great multitude of people out of all Judea and Jerusalem, and from the sea coast of Tyre and Sidon, which came to hear him and to be healed of their diseases. And they that were vexed with unclean spirits, and they were healed. And the whole multitude sought to touch him, for there went virtue out of him, and healed them all. So we have this great multitude gathering. He was in the mountain up a ways with his disciples. He now comes down, and the people are now thronging around him again. The people are gathering around him just to touch him to be healed. This is what we have here, this massive gathering of people. Verse 20. And he lifted up his eyes on his disciples and said, Blessed be ye poor, for yours is the kingdom of God. Blessed are ye that hunger now, for ye shall be filled. Blessed are ye that weep now, for ye shall laugh. Blessed are ye when men shall hate you, and when they shall separate you from their company, and shall reproach you, and cast out your name as evil for the Son of Man's sake. Rejoice ye in that day, and leap for joy, for behold, your reward is great in heaven. For in the like manner did their fathers unto the prophets. But woe unto you that are rich, for ye have received your consolation. Woe unto you that are full, for ye shall hunger. Woe unto you that laugh now, for ye shall mourn and weep. Woe unto you when all men shall speak well of you, for so did their fathers to the false prophets. This is Luke's record of what would become the Beatitudes, as we will see in more detail in Matthew. Of course, we'll see all this in more detail in Matthew, but I like in here we get this comparison. Blessed are the poor, yours is the kingdom, but then we have woe unto the rich, for you have received your consolation. We have blessed are those that hunger, and then we have woe to those who are full. I like that dichotomy there. That saying, you guys, you're humble, you're learning, you're embracing the truth, you're good. And when you embrace all this stuff and the people reject you and cast you out, don't worry about it. They did the same thing to the prophets who came before you. But woe to all those who aren't doing these things. The woe to those who are full, who are rich, who are not being cast out. Woe to those who are embraced by the world, because all the false prophets have been embraced by the world. Let us continue verse 27. But I say unto you which hear, love your enemies, do good to them which hate you, bless them that curse you, and pray for them which despitefully use you. And unto him that smiteth thee on the one cheek offer also the other, and him that taketh away thy cloak forbid not to take thy coat also. Give to every man that asketh of thee, and of him that taketh away thy goods ask them not again. And as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. For if ye love them which love you, what thank have ye? For sinners also love those that love them. And if ye do good to them which do good to you, what thank have ye? For sinners also do even the same. And if ye lend to them of whom ye hope to receive, what thank have ye? For sinners also lend to sinners to receive as much again. But love ye your enemies, and do good, and lend, hoping for nothing again. And your reward shall be great, and ye shall be the children of the highest. For he is kind unto the unthankful and to the evil. Be ye therefore merciful, as your Father also is merciful. Judge not, and ye shall not be judged. Condemn not, and ye shall not be condemned. Forgive, and ye shall be forgiven. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down and shaken together and running over, shall men give into your bosom. For with the same measure that ye mete withal, it shall be measured to you again. This is that, turn the other cheek. Love those who hate you. And I love the statements there. If ye love them that love you, what thank have ye? You're not really getting anything in return. You're not doing any better than anybody else. If you lend with the expectation of getting back, well, yeah, everybody does that. But if you can give your money, hopefully you get it back. But if you don't, it's okay. Well, now you're one step above. Now you're doing a little better. And that's what he's selling here. That's what he's teaching here, is how to be just a little better, a little higher law. We don't do what all the base and all the heathens, all the sinners, all the people, just that kind of base morality that everybody has. You don't want that just the base. You want to have that higher law. Be a little bit better. So let us continue this, verse 39. And he spake a parable unto them. Can the blind lead the blind? Shall they not both fall into the ditch? The disciple is not above his master, but every one that is perfect shall be as his master. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but perceivest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Neither how canst thou say to thy brother, Brother, let me pull out the mote that is in thine eye, when thou thyself beholdest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Thou hypocrite, cast out first the beam out of thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to pull out the mote that is in thy brother's eye. For a good tree bringeth not forth corrupt fruit, neither doth a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. For every tree is known by his own fruit. For of thorns men do not gather figs, nor of a bramble bush gather they grapes. A good man out of the good treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is good, and an evil man out of the evil treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is evil. For of the abundance of the heart his mouth speaketh. There are two kind of parables, two principles being taught in this portion here. We have the, corrupt brings forth corrupt. Good brings forth good. You can't get good from a corrupt tree. That's what it is. Even somebody who might do some good for other people, if their heart is corrupt, then the reason for them doing it is corrupt. And in the end, it will not turn out well. Either they will give up on it, they will cast it aside, or they will expect payment in kind. Something bad, something corrupt will always come from it. But we also have the blind lead the blind. And the mote in the beginning. The mote is just a small sliver of wood. And in this one, the way he puts it here, thou canst not see thyself, beholdest not the beam that is in thine own eye. In other words, it's not just that you have a beam in your eye and say, oh well, I've got this beam in my eye, but let me try and help you with yours. It's that you are too ignorant to even see your own weaknesses, even see your own blindness. And yet you think that you have the ability to correct others. You have to know what your own weaknesses are before you are able to identify the weaknesses in others, to accurately assess that. But let us finish this, verse 36. And why call ye me, Lord, Lord, and do not the things which I say? Whosoever cometh to me, and heareth my sayings, and doeth them, I will shew you to whom he is like. He is like a man which built an house, and digged deep, and laid the foundation on a rock. And when the flood arose, the stream beat vehemently upon the house, and could not shake it, for it was founded upon a rock. But he that heareth and doeth not is like a man that without a foundation built an house upon the earth, against which the stream did beat vehemently, and immediately it fell, and the ruin of that house was great. Notice that in this final parable, first of all, he's talking about I'm teaching you, you're saying I'm Lord, you're calling me Rabbi, whatever, but you're not doing what I'm telling you need to be doing. And then he goes into this parable. Those who do the will of God are the wise man who built his house on the rock. But notice it's not just on a rock. He digs deep, meaning he's digging down to the bedrock. He's not just getting a stone and putting a house on it. That wouldn't work. But you dig down to the bedrock. You anchor the house to the bedrock. And then it is unmoving. The other guy doesn't dig at all. He just puts it on top of the ground. That's the foolish man who is not doing what Christ told him to. Both men in these cases, both of these men in this parable, believe in Christ. They both have faith, but one does what is necessary and the other doesn't. Now, this is a somewhat condensed version of the Sermon on the Mount. We will read the expanded version in Matthew in a little bit, but in our next video first, we will do the Joseph Smith translation of Luke here. So I will see you there.